ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. In Europe, and maybe it's still being done nowadays in different places, a little boy was introduced to the study of the Chumash, which is the first part of the Bible, the Torah, with a third book called Vayikra, Leviticus in English. What is this book about? This book is about sacrifices, about the priests, the Kohanim, what they would wear, the entire service that took place first in the Mishkan and later on in the Beit HaMikdash, the first one, of course, having been built by King Solomon. It is very strange to start a young boy with the study of such technical items, and most of them are really not pertinent today. We don't have a Beit HaMikdash. They used to put a candy or a little coin in the book so that when the boy would open up the book, he would identify study with something that he liked, that brought him pleasure. So just like a candy brings him physical pleasure, study should bring him spiritual pleasure as well. Why did they start with that book? I really don't know. But maybe in order to teach this child that in life you have to bring something, you have to offer something. Any valid, important human relation requires of each of the parts to give something of himself, to make a sacrifice in order for this relationship to grow. In the Bible, of course, it says there were different kinds of sacrifices. For instance, if somebody inadvertently disobeyed the Sabbath law for some reason, he didn't realize it, then he has to bring a korban chatat. He had to bring a sacrifice to the Beit HaMikdash to expiate of his mistake. Of course, there is no korban, there is no sacrifice by doing something intentionally. I cannot go and disobey the Torah and then bring a sacrifice and wash my hands. No such thing is available. But according to our rabbis, each korban was also associated with teshuvah. You had to feel sorry for what you did. You had to make a promise that you're not going to do it again in the future. There were other korbanot also. There were for the different festivities, for Shabbat, for Rosh Hashanah, for the Chagim. As a matter of fact, Maimonides speaks about it in the Guide to the Perplexed, which is called Moreh Nevuchim. He really says that the sacrifices were only given for a certain time, for a certain period in our history, because other peoples were involved also in human sacrifices. And Judaism came and said, no human sacrifices. The example, of course, the notable example is the almost sacrifice of Isaac, the second of our patriarchs. At the last moment, Abraham hears God's voice telling him, no, this is only a test. No human sacrifices are permissible. So we know that. So Maimonides says that was only given at a certain time in human history. However, in his magnum opus, which is Mishneh Torah, where he classifies all the laws of the Torah, sacrifices appear notably in the right place, and it is an instruction forever, so that if the third Beit HaMikdash were to be rebuilt, then we would once again institute a service of sacrifices, which is a little difficult for modern man to understand. How do you serve God after centuries of addressing him with words, with sentiments? How do you serve God through sacrifices? Well, Chief Rabbi Isaac HaKohen Kook, the first Chief Rabbi of Israel, in one opportunity said that the third Beit HaMikdash has to be reestablished only through miraculous events. God has to intervene. There are too many obstacles in order to accomplish it. Maybe God will at the same time give us a new understanding of the meaning of sacrifices. Being that as it may, sacrifices appear in the Torah. There is one in particular I'd like to spend a moment with you called Olah. It's the first sacrifice we have presented, and that sacrifice had to be consumed entirely by fire, because others were also eaten by the Kohanim, by the people who presented it, depending on the different kind of sacrifice. But this Olah was consumed totally. Why is this sacrifice brought? The Torah is not very clear. Our rabbis say maybe this sacrifice is brought for opportunities that we missed. It's not a question that I lied or that I ate something that I shouldn't have eaten. It is when I was at a meeting And a friend of mine was being insulted by somebody else, and I didn't come out to his defense. I missed an opportunity to do something good. I missed the opportunity to do something good about myself, about my family. Each one of us, I am sure, if he makes memory, there's so many times when we missed an opportunity to do something good. Something that isn't necessarily specified, spelled out in the Torah or in our laws, but yet we know that we missed that opportunity. Make sure then in your life that the opportunities that you missed served as a lesson. You really remember them so that next time this situation arises, you will certainly be on the spot and you won't miss the opportunity. This way, you will make for a better society and for a better humankind.